Hi, this is Joyce Pellino Crane. I am the news director at WestfordCAT. Today I'm with Debbie Rhodes, who is the director of stewardship at the Blessed Trinity Parish, which encompasses St. Catherine of Alexandria in Westford and St. Anne's in Littleton. Did I get that right, Debbie?
St. Catherine's of Alexandria.
Alexandria, that's correct. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Welcome, and we're here to
Thank
talk
you.
a little bit about the two parishes who were once separate and operated as separate entities. They have now, in the past few years, come together as one. And Debbie is going to tell us a little bit about how that all came about.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. So for years, being straddling two towns, we had done some things together as churches, different groups getting together. And then we went into collaboration a few years ago. And what that means is we still kept our separate identities, but shared a lot of resources. So we kind of joke and say that was kind of like dating or being engaged. And then merging was finally blending our families into one. Is a kind of a cute way to put it, you know, and we were doing so much together. We were operating as one. It was that taking that legal step into merging was the final way to cement us together to be one.
Yes, that was a few years ago. I remember it was at least, somewhere around 2016 or before.
Right. And then the merger just took place. It was official January 1st this year.
Ah, okay. Didn't know that. That's very interesting. Yeah. Now, initially, Father Peter Quinn, who actually I think his title is pastor, is that right?
Yes.
But we all call him Father Peter. Father Peter Quinn was overseeing, quite a bit of this whole operation. And now he is joined by another priest.
Yes, so Father Joe Rossi, he was here as an associate priest. And when we went into the official merger, they became team ministries. So they're equally responsible for our one parish with the two churches.
Yes, and I think that was a godsend because that was a big, big job.
Yes, yeah.
So what is ahead for Blessed Trinity Parish?
Well, it's interesting because
for viewers at home watching this, we do have spotty
kind of put the brakes on a lot of things, and gave us some time. Like, for instance, one thing that had been on our wish list was having a more robust social media presence. Yeah. So it's amazing what came out of the pandemic with that.
Tell us.
Well, one thing is we started filming masses, and we created a YouTube channel.
I saw that because we have them all archived in our
Yes. But we've kind of morphed. There was a group of young men who asked if they could start an AV ministry. So that's been wonderful. So we're now live streaming weekly. And the beauty in that is, it isn't just the pandemic that people couldn't come to mass for a period of time. There are always people that can't come to the building for whatever reason, health reasons, a sick child, they're traveling. This enables our parishioners to continue being a part of our community, even though they can't come in the building. Mm-hmm. And it's been, during the pandemic, another issue was for funerals. Families couldn't have very many people come into the church when we started having funerals again. So many of the funerals got live streamed, which was wonderful because it isn't just the people, the limit on the building, but there's always going to be people who can't make it to a funeral. They're out of state or for various reasons. So that's a great new ministry that came out of the pandemic. And a lot of our other social media. We have our we didn't realize that our children's choir director and cantor, Kiki Donahue, was very talented with all the social media, various things. So now we've got Instagram, Twitter. She's got consolidated our 2 Facebook pages into one, a new website, a parish app. So there's so many ways we can reach out to people and keep them connected. So that wish list thing got kind of kicked to the front because of the pandemic, one of the few, good things that came out of the pandemic. So
that's wonderful. I was sort of wondering during that period, it was a whole year, who took care of the needs of the caretaker, I mean, if you're the one helping everyone else, at some point you're going to need help too. So how did that work?
Oh, well, it was difficult, initially, like, staff wasn't coming in, everybody was working remotely. All of us were very concerned for parishioners who live alone or who are elderly, because we even had to stop home visits and nursing home visits. Our 2 priests had COVID in December.
Oh, both of them?
Both of them. And so we had to cancel Christmas masses, which was just,
yeah.
But fortunately, we had people helping us out. And because of that AV ministry, we were able to record the Christmas masses and have those, at least people could watch at home.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, it's, and we did the same thing for Ash Wednesday. We had ashes blessed and we had packets people could come pick up, and we had recorded a prayer service for Ash Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So, and it wasn't easy, especially with the priests having COVID, and, it was a little disheartening because we were able to start things up again, and then we had to put the brakes on again.
How many employees are there?
We have some part-time with music and everything, but I would say we have about 18 to 20 employees.
So the employees, did they work from home or did they come in?
For the most part, at least that initial, couple of months, people worked from home. Mm-hmm. And there was a group that were working on the filmed masses. So, some people were coming in. Mm-hmm. My husband works from home, so I chose to come in, just space constraints. But, the buildings were very quiet, and, with the churches being locked with signs on the doors, it was a strange time. It's really wonderful to have things starting to really open up again.
And did the 2 priests, did they recover fully, or are they okay?
Yeah. So unfortunately, Father Joe had a bit of a worse case. I think he still has some lingering issues with sense of taste and smell, but fortunately they're both okay.
Good. That's great to hear. You are a director of stewardship, and I just was wondering what that means.
So basically, when people think of stewardship, they think of money, but that's just, a little portion. It's stewardship is basically, acknowledging and being grateful for that all you have has come from God, and to share that. So another way to put it is time, talent, and treasure, or prayer, service, and sharing. And it's just to try to build up parishioner engagement and work with all the different ministries. We do a renewal every year where we help people to reflect on all the gifts they've been given, and, making a commitment to share those gifts in the coming year. So
that's very nice.
And there's a very private stewardship committee here at the parish. And as a matter of fact, we're meeting tomorrow to start planning next year's renewal and what the theme is going to be. And that was another thing last year, is because usually that is a month-long event with different things on the weekends. people giving witness talks, having a commitment weekend, different programs. And last year we did it all virtually.
Wow.
Like everything else, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice this year to be able to have, you know, be able to offer something that people can actually participate in person again.
And where are you off to? Where are you physically going? Or are you just meeting church? Are you going somewhere like a retreat, sort of like
to do that? No, we do it at the two buildings, you know, depending on the event, which is the beauty of having two completely different types of facilities. Some things really lend themselves better to being at one location or the other. St. Catherine's has a larger indoor seating capacity and air conditioning, you know. So a lot of times when it's an indoor event, this is a great place. Outdoor events, like when we did the outdoor masses last year, and we recently had a welcome back picnic to have a social for everybody to get together. St. Anne's lends itself to that because they have a lot of outdoor space and a very large parking lot. So
wonderful. So you were making use of these two buildings very well.
Yes.
What would you like residents in Westford to know about the Blessed Trinity Parish?
Well, I would say I'd love for them to look at our new website that, as I had mentioned, Kristen Donahue had created. It's blessedtrinitycatholic.org. There's a lot of information on there. We have all kinds of wonderful ministries. One of them is the Wonderfully Made ministry, which is a pretty new one. And I think that one, it might have started right before the pandemic or during. And that's in support of all of our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. There's something for all ages to get involved, but you know, our liturgies are really beautiful. Our priests are so kind and caring. And if somebody's been away from the church for a while, we have a program called Landings, which is to welcome people back into the church. And it's landings because it's an easy place to land and ask questions, and, you know, in a non-threatening way. So whatever your spectrum is on your Catholic journey, we have something for everybody. And we're very welcoming. If people would read the front page of our bulletin, may I read that to you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Quickly.
We'll try to.
Okay, let me grab it. I think this kind of says it all. On the front of our bulletin, it says, no matter what your present status in the Catholic Church, no matter your current family or marital situation, no matter your personal age, income, background, race, gender identity, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or spirituality, no matter your own self-image of holiness or virtue, you belong to Jesus Christ and you belong to us. You are invited, accepted, and respected here at Blessed Trinity Parish. We want to share our Roman Catholic way of life and faith in Christ with you. And I think that's us in a nutshell. You know, we try to be as welcoming and accepting of everybody. And that's what I would like people to know.
That's really a nice thing for people to know. And it's worded beautifully. Thank you for reading that.
Thank you for letting me share that. Yeah.
Well, so do we have time to go any deeper into, you know, what the church is about, and, you know, where things will be 5 years from now?
You know, that's hard to tell. And, you know, that was one of the reasons we did decide to merge, is because, you know, the state of the number of priests that are newly ordained it's scary. There's, you know, so many elderly priests, so many that are retiring or that are sick. You know, you had mentioned that's a big job for one pastor,
right,
to shoulder. We have about and one of the things we've been doing through all this is trying to call every household. We have 3,800 families.
Oh, it's grown significantly because when I
that are registered. It's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and that's the two churches
Can you
combined.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you?
You're freezing, but yeah, there you are. You're back.
Okay. Yeah. So 3,800 families represents about 13,000 people, you know. So part of the reasons for the phone calls is we just wanted to know people to know we're here, we're open again, our doors are open, but also to like clean up our database a little bit. So that might be a little inflated. If people move, sometimes they don't let us know they've moved.
Yeah,
but you know, so we're here. I think, you know, one difficult thing for us is reaching that 20-something age. And I think that isn't just the Catholic Church that has that issue. It's all organized religion, you know, so we're trying, we're striving to, you know, reach everybody. You know, one difficulty that we're having right now is a lot of people aren't ready to come back inside because of the pandemic.
Right. I walked in.
You know, some of them it's legitimate, you know, they have health reasons.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be in a crowd. And, you know, we completely understand that. And that's, you know, one of the main reasons we're going to continue with the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people that, you know, we just don't know how to get them back. You know, it's, you know, we do 2 email blasts each week. And on the Wednesday one, we've started airing a series by Bishop Robert Barron on coming back to church. And it's amazing that we've heard from a few people who are kind of upset that we're doing that because they're not ready and they're feeling like we're pressuring them.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it isn't pressure, but, you know, it is, you know, coming and joining together for the Eucharist is the summit of our Catholic faith. So if people are able to be here, of course, you know, we want them to be in community with us. And I think, you know, one thing we learned from the pandemic is, you know, all this social media is great, but it has its limits. Mm-hmm. You know, I think the pandemic was very isolating. It's great to be back in community. So I guess we want people to know the doors are open, and when they're ready, we're here, and they're welcome. You know, I read that statement from the Bulletin, and, you know, Father Peter and Father Joe are always available to them too. If they, you know, if something's keeping them away other than, you know, health reasons, that they should feel welcome to, you know, talk to either of them or consider that landings program that I mentioned.
Well, there's, you know, it's difficult to bring up things, but I don't believe the Catholic Church has yet lifted a ban on divorced people taking the Eucharist. And, you know, that's really what it's all about. So if you prevent someone from having that.
And I would say, you know, I'm not qualified to speak on that, but if anybody did have a question, Father Peter and Father Joe are very, you know, welcoming and easy to talk to. So if anybody had questions, you know, or Deacon Bill, he's our deacon, Deacon Bill Dwyer, you know, I think people should feel open and safe in having a conversation with them about that.
I'm certain that people would feel safe with Father Peter and Father Joe and Deacon Bill.
Yeah.
So this is lovely. It's so nice to have this opportunity to speak with you. I don't have more questions, but if you have anything more that you want residents of Westford to know, and Littleton, of course, I'm all ears.
I think we covered, well, and you had sent some preliminary questions, and there is one thing you had asked if St. Vincent de Paul was still active.
That's right.
And so there were, St. Vincent de Paul groups are called conferences. So there was already a conference in Littleton and the conference in Westford. So they are not merging. They're still, their own standalone conferences. So if somebody lives in Littleton or Ayr, the Littleton St. Vincent de Paul can help them out. And in Westford, I'm looking because it's so many towns. They cover Ashby, Groton, Pepperell, Shirley, Townsend, and Westford.
Wow.
And then, so they cover, services to needy people in all those communities. And people can look us up online at blessedtrinitycatholic.org and find the numbers for the 2 different St. Vincent de Pauls. And one really nice thing about that, there's actually a youth St. Vincent de Paul program. So youth from both the parishes can have an opportunity to take action in their communities.
That's wonderful. I think St. Vincent de Paul is my favorite charity because of what they do. They are so, what I know about them, and what I know about them is from writing a story or two about such topics that were related to St. Vincent de Paul. And I'm always impressed to hear how they go inside the home and they speak with people who are
right. Yeah, they really get to the root of what the issue is and, help them in any way they can or refer other services. So they really look at it in a very holistic way. It isn't just, cutting somebody a check. It's really helping them through their situation and looking at their future. And I agree with you. It's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I do remember I wrote into the article, someone was very courageous, a couple, and we're writing about actually poverty in the suburbs. And this couple had gotten into financial challenges, and they were back on track following a process that someone from St. Vincent de Paul had given to them. And they had hope. They had hope.
Right. And it is amazing in this area because I have been involved with Loaves and Fishes, and I had gone to a meeting there, and they had graphs illustrating the food insecurities in our area, and I was shocked. Yeah.
I remember there were about 423 people that at that time when we were writing this series of articles that needed help. And it didn't sound like a lot until you really thought about it. 420 meals missing, it's a lot.
Right. And really, I hate saying somebody like me doesn't think about that all the time, but you don't. You just, your next meal's there.
Right. That's right.
It's hard to,
It's hard to imagine that, you can't buy the peppers or, you can't buy the onion. I do farm. Right. I actually have a garden. I share a garden, I should say, because he's doing all the work, but, I share a garden in Westford at the community gardens, and some people who are there, most of us are there recreationally for the fun and the pleasantness of it. But some are there because they really are suffering from food insecurity.
Yeah.
And that is, again, just what you said, it's shocking.
It's shocking. And, thank God for St. Vincent de Paul in this area.
So I guess we could get deeper into it until we both are crying.
I know.
That you're very, very gentle and you feel, and that's so beautiful to see. But maybe we'll end it here and we can pick it up again anytime you want, Debbie.
Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Joyce.
I was very happy to do it. Thank you. So for WestfordCAT News, this is Joyce Pellino Crane. Have a great day, everyone.